Learn English through story. The forbidden whisper of desire. In the quiet coastal town of Selby Bay, the ebb and flow of the tides mirrored the lives of its inhabitants, steady, predictable, and deeply ingrained with tradition. It was a place where everyone knew each other, where secrets were scarce and reputations meant everything. Life in Selby Bay unfolded like the turn of seasons, slow and dependable, comforting in its familiarity. For Elena, Selby Bay had always been home. She was the daughter of the local baker, and from a young age, her life had revolved around her family's shop and the quiet streets of the town. She had married Robert, a kind, reliable man whose loyalty and steadiness had seemed a balm to her youthful restlessness. Together, they ran the family bakery, a staple in the community, and raised 2 children. On the surface, she had everything she'd once hoped for: a beautiful family, a comfortable home, and a life she had helped to build. But beneath the tranquil facade, Elena felt a stirring, a quiet whisper within her heart that seemed to grow louder with each passing year. She couldn't remember when the feeling had first crept in, that restless ache that lay dormant beneath the routines of her life. It was a longing for something she couldn't quite name, a yearning for a part of herself she felt she had lost along the way. She loved Robert deeply, respected him for the way he cared for their family and supported her dreams. Yet there was a part of her that felt unfulfilled, a part she couldn't quite silence, no matter how much she tried. Then one autumn evening, as the leaves turned golden and the air took on a crisp chill, a stranger arrived in Selby Bay. His name was Alexia Ryder, he said, seeking solitude and inspiration by the coast. He was renting the old Hawthorne cottage, a place that had been vacant for years, a forgotten relic perched on the edge of the cliffs, overlooking the sea. People in the town were curious about him, this man with a quiet air of mystery, a hint of sadness in his eyes, and a charm that felt almost otherworldly. Elena met him one evening while walking along the beach. She hadn't meant to strike up a conversation, but as their paths crossed, something in his gaze drew her in. They exchanged pleasantries at first, discussing the beauty of the coast, the changing seasons, and the rhythm of life in a small town. But there was an undercurrent between them, a spark of recognition that neither of them spoke of but both felt. Over the days that followed, they met more often, sometimes by chance and sometimes by intention. They would walk along the shore, talking about life, love, and dreams. Elena found herself sharing parts of herself she hadn't voiced in years: her childhood dreams of traveling the world, her love for painting, a passion she had long set aside. With Alex, she felt seen in a way she hadn't felt in years, a way that awakened something deep within her. There was no denying the pull she felt toward him, the sense that he understood her in a way no one else did. It frightened her, the intensity of her feelings, the way he seemed to draw out the parts of herself she had kept hidden. She loved Robert, she reminded herself. She had a family, a life she was proud of. But the whisper of desire in her heart grew louder, a forbidden song that beckoned her to explore the depths of her own soul. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and cast the sky in hues of orange and pink, Elena and Alex sat on the edge of the cliffs, watching the waves crash against the rocks below. There was a tension between them, an unspoken confession in the way their hands lingered too close, the way their gazes lingered just a moment longer than necessary. "Elena," Alex said softly, his voice carrying a warmth that sent a shiver down her spine. "Do you ever wonder what it would be like to live a different life, to follow the dreams you once had?" She looked at him, her heart pounding, and felt the weight of his question settle within her. She had wondered, of course she had. But the reality of life, of responsibility and duty, had always anchored her, had kept her from straying too far from the path she had chosen. "I think we all wonder," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "But wondering and a broken bar, they're two different things." He reached out, his hand brushing against hers, a touch so light it was barely there, yet it sent a thrill through her entire being. She knew she should pull away, should resist the temptation that pulsed between them, but she couldn't bring herself to move, trapped by the intensity of his gaze, the longing in his eyes that mirrored her own. "I know," he said softly, "but sometimes that's a broken bar sometimes. The heart speaks in whispers we can't ignore." As he spoke, she felt a tear slip down her cheek, the weight of her own desires crashing over her like the waves below. She had spent so long silencing the whispers of her heart, burying her own dreams beneath the responsibilities of life and love. But here, with Alex, those desires felt alive, vibrant, and undeniable. And then, in a moment that felt suspended in time, he leaned in, his lips meeting hers in a kiss that was both gentle and electric, a kiss that seemed to hold 1,000 unspoken confessions. She felt her heart race, her soul ignite, and for a brief, fleeting moment, she allowed herself to surrender to the desire that had simmered beneath the surface for so long. But as quickly as the moment had come, reality set in, and she pulled away, her heart pounding, her mind a whirlwind of guilt and confusion. She looked at him, her chest heaving with the weight of her emotions, and saw the same mixture of longing and regret mirrored in his eyes. "A broken bar I can't," she whispered, her voice choked with emotion. "I love my family. I can't do this." Alex nodded, his gaze softening, and he reached out, his hand brushing a strand of hair from her face. "I know," he replied, his voice filled with understanding and sorrow. "But that doesn't make what we feel any less real, does it?" They sat in silence, the weight of their unspoken desires hanging heavy between them. Elena knew that she couldn't allow herself to fall any deeper, couldn't risk destroying the life she had built for the sake of a forbidden desire. And yet, as she walked away from him, she felt a hollow ache in her heart, a yearning for something she knew she could never have. In the days that followed, Elena tried to put the memory of that night behind her, tried to focus on her family and the responsibilities that grounded her. But no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't shake the memory of Alex's touch, the way he had made her feel alive in a way she hadn't felt in years. Her relationship with Robert remained loving, steady, and dependable. He was a good husband, a man who provided her with the stability and security she had always craved. But she couldn't deny that a part of her heart had been awakened by that brief encounter with Alex, a part of herself that longed for something more than the safety and predictability of her marriage. She knew that pursuing those desires would be reckless, would lead only to heartbreak and regret. But the thought lingered, a forbidden whisper in the back of her mind, tempting her to take the risk, to embrace the passion that had sparked between her and Alex. As time passed, Elena found herself standing at a crossroads, faced with a choice that would define the course of her life. She could remain true to the life she had built, the love she shared with Robert, or she could follow the whisper of desire that called her toward a life she had only dared to dream of. In the end, Elena made a decision that would allow her to reconcile her desire for passion with the love and responsibility she felt for her family. She realized that while desire might burn brightly, it was also fleeting, a flame that could just as easily consume as it could warm. And she understood that true fulfillment lay not in chasing forbidden whispers, but in finding a way to honor both her heart and her commitments. Though the memory of Alex would always linger, a reminder of the part of herself she had rediscovered, Elena found peace in her decision, embracing a love that was deeper than desire, a love rooted in trust, respect, and a shared life built together. This is a strong beginning, laying the foundation of Elena's journey and her complex moral struggle. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you enjoyed, then please like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.